Picture this, a caravan of hundreds of camels moving slowly across the desert, their backs loaded with silk, spices, and precious stones. But they're not just carrying goods, they're carrying stories, religions, technologies, and ideas that will shape the destiny of nations. This wasn't just trade. This was the first global network. A road that didn't just connect Asia and Europe, it connected humanity. The Silk Road is often remembered as a highway for silk and spices, but the truth is much deeper. It was the lifeline of civilizations, the original internet of the ancient world. And in this video, we're going to uncover how the Silk Road really connected the world. The origins of the Silk Road. The story begins in the 2nd century BCE, during the Han Dynasty of China. At the time, Chinese emperors realized they had something no one else in the world could produce: silk. Silk wasn't just fabric, it was magic. Roman elites draped themselves in it. Persian kings wore it as a sign of power. Traders risked their lives crossing deserts and mountains just to get a few rolls of it. But calling it the Silk Road is actually misleading. It wasn't a single road, it was a massive network stretching from China through Central Asia, into Persia, the Middle East, and finally to the Mediterranean. Branching routes reached India, Africa, and even Russia. It was less like a highway and more like the world's first spiderweb of connection. The flow of goods. Silk was just the beginning. Along these routes flowed, from the east, silk, tea, porcelain, lacquerware, paper, and even gunpowder. From the west, horses, wool, glass, ivory, gold, and precious stones like jade and amber. From the south, spices, cotton, and exotic fruits. These goods weren't just traded for wealth, they transformed daily life. Spices changed how people ate. Paper changed how people earned. Horses changed how armies fought. Think of it this way. Every marketplace along the Silk Road was like a miniature version of globalization, centuries before airplanes or shipping containers. The exchange of ideas. But here's the real magic. What traveled along the Silk Road wasn't just physical, it was intellectual. Mathematics. The concept of zero from India, algebra from the Islamic world, and geometry from Greece all met and influenced each other. Medicine, herbal remedies from China, surgical techniques from India, and medical texts from Persia all mixed together. Technology, papermaking and printing, born in China, spread westward. By the time it reached Europe, it fueled revolutions in education, literacy, and eventually the Renaissance. Without the Silk Road, the world's greatest ideas would have remained locked in their birthplaces. Instead, they became shared human treasures. The spread of religions. Religion may have been the most transformative traveler along the Silk Road. Buddhism spread from India through Central Asia into China, Korea, and Japan. The famous cave temples of Dunhuang in China are filled with Buddhist art that blends Indian, Persian, and Chinese styles, living proof of cultural exchange. Islam spread eastward into Central Asia and Western China, carried by merchants and missionaries. Christianity reached Asia through the efforts of missionaries and traders, even influencing communities as far as Mongolia. Zoroastrianism, Hinduism, Judaism, and other beliefs also move along these routes, creating places where multiple faiths coexisted. The Silk Road wasn't just a marketplace, it was a spiritual highway. The rise of great cities. The Silk Road gave birth to legendary cities. Samarkand, Uzbekistan, known as the Jewel of the Silk Road, it became a hub of science, art, and architecture. Kashgar, China, a key crossroads where merchants from all directions met. Baghdad, Iraq, home to the House of Wisdom, where scholars translated works from Greek, Persian, Indian, and Chinese sources. Constantinople, Turkey, the gateway to Europe, filled with goods from across Asia. These cities became cultural melting pots, where traders spoke dozens of languages, markets overflowed with goods from across the world, and ideas were exchanged as casually as coins. The role of empires. Trade thrives under protection, and the Silk Road flourished under great empires. The Han Dynasty secured the eastern stretches. The Persian Empire controlled key middle sections. The Byzantine Empire welcomed trade from the west. And most famously, the Mongol Empire under Genghis Khan created the Pax Mongolica, a time of peace and safety across much of Eurasia. Under Mongol rule, merchants could travel from China to Europe with relative safety. The Mongols even created passport-like documents for traders, a system of postal relays, and military escorts to protect caravans. It was the closest the ancient world came to having free shipping. The dark side of connection. But connection always has risks. The Silk Road didn't just spread wealth and wisdom, it also spread conflict and disease. One of the deadliest examples, the Black Death. Historians believe it spread along Silk Road routes from Central Asia to Europe, wiping out nearly 1/3 of Europe's population in the 14th century. Trade also meant competition. Empires fought bitterly over control of trade routes, cities rose and fell, and bandits constantly threatened merchants. The Silk Road was a lifeline, but one that came at great risk. The Maritime Silk Road. While caravans trudged across deserts and mountains, ships sailed across seas. The Maritime Silk Road connected China with Southeast Asia, India, the Middle East, and Africa. Chinese porcelain was found in African ports. Indian spices flavored European kitchens. Arab glassware reached Chinese palaces. In fact, some historians argue the sea routes were even more important than the land routes because they carried larger quantities of goods at lower cost. Together, the overland and maritime Silk Roads created the world's first global trade system. Everyday life along the Silk Road. It's easy to imagine kings and merchants benefiting from the Silk Road, but what about ordinary people? Farmers along the routes grew crops that were in demand far away, like grapes for wine or mulberries for silkworms. Artisans crafted pottery, textiles, and jewelry that found buyers in distant lands. Innkeepers and cooks made fortunes serving weary travelers at roadside caravanserais, essential inns where traders rested. Nomadic tribes in Central Asia became key players, guiding caravans safely across vast steppes and deserts. For many, the Silk Road wasn't just a distant highway, it was their livelihood, the global legacy of the Silk Road. So, how did the Silk Road really connect the world? Cultural blending. Languages borrowed words from each other, cuisines mixed ingredients, and art styles fused across continents. The rise of the Ottoman Empire cut off many land routes, and the discovery of sea routes around Africa shifted trade to oceans. Explorers like Columbus and Vasco da Gama weren't just seeking adventure, they were looking for alternatives to the Silk Road. In many ways, the age of exploration was born from its decline. But the Silk Road never really disappeared. Today, highways, railroads, and the internet carry on its legacy of connection. Even modern projects like China's Belt and Road Initiative explicitly borrow the name and spirit of the Silk Road. Conclusion: the Silk Road was never just a road. It was the heartbeat of civilizations, the thread that wove the ancient world together. It carried gold and silk, but also knowledge, faith, and culture. It made empires rise, spread ideas that still shape us today, and even showed us the dangers of connection. It was, in many ways, humanity's first experiment with globalization. And if you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world. Because the Silk Road teaches us one powerful lesson: the world is stronger when it's connected.